welcome. Hello. So thank you, Ruuts. I must have got distracted there. Welcome, friends. Welcome to Virtual Strangers 167. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Eric. Eric, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How we doing today? Happy Sunday.
Doing great, man. Busy Sunday. What's up, Ruuts? How you doing today?
Good. I'm feeling extra fancy. I have a expensive Starbucks coffee to remind me that I'm fancy. So
Quad Vente White Mocha?
yeah, and it's actually more to wake myself up. I had a coffee when I woke up at like 9 something, and then I gotta have another one. I'm kind of tired. I only got a couple hours sleep. These late nights, early mornings are crazy, but it's not so bad when I have to work. I don't mind it as much.
Sounds like diabetes in a coffee cup.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's more a lot of shots of espresso. So
yeah, I feel you, man. Like I could probably use one myself. Sit up late last night, streaming After the Fall with my friends Eric and Dee and Skiva, and then
don't talk about it, please. I'm just now getting over it. I'm not even over it. I'm still not over it.
Guess how it ended, Ruuts?
I don't have to guess. I was there in the audience watching. But,
oh, were you? Were you?
Yeah, it was crazy. I can't believe. The biggest thing that when I was telling Eric this earlier, I felt really bad. I felt good that I wasn't in there because I got off work late. I was supposed to be in that group, and but I felt bad because I listened to you guys feel so bad about not finishing your run, and then you triggered it. You found it, and you were all excited. You were like, oh, I was so bummed out, and then the very next fucking wave, it happened again, and this time you couldn't find the zombie, and that sucks.
Well, I had a couple of epiphanies since then. First of all, Eric, do you remember the brutes that were disappearing?
I do.
In the yard?
Yep.
I bet those were what
happened,
was
right?
triggering this. Yeah, they disappeared and they went and hid somewhere.
Jerks. Yeah,
they just knew we were kicking their asses so much. They're like, we're gonna go hide. We're gonna go hide somewhere. But
that's exactly it.
This thing, and Ruuts mentioned this morning too in our chat together. Thank God Skiva was there, because Skiva was there and he just happened to be recording everything too. So, everything that happened to us, we have a pipeline directly to Vertigo with the exact recording and everything that happened. So this is, this sucked. It was a terrible thing, but the positive is, hopefully they can send this, they can see it, and they can go, okay, we can fix this, and they will fix it and address it, I hope.
I think the good news coming out of it, though, is I think we can confirm now that those discs do accumulate as you earn them, because I can tell you for a fact that I had a red attachment, a prototype stock for my LMG that I did not have prior to that run. I know I didn't have it prior to that run because I checked prior to that run. So I know that that's what happened. Either some kind of weird glitch happened where it's just giving me shit for no reason, or the discs accumulate as you get them in the horde runs, and it doesn't matter if you die in the game or not.
That makes more sense. Although, I guess Dee didn't have anything, and I guess who was the other person that was with you guys?
Skiva, but I don't know, man. I think they needed to check better. You got to check every weapon, because I had one from the run before, because the same thing happened to us during our 12-hour stream, right, Wes? It was, that stream, it ended the exact same way as this ended, where we got, we had to basically shut the game down because we couldn't end the level. And when I came back, yesterday was the first day I had been back since that day, and I had a red prototype barrel for the new auto shotgun, and I did not have that before.
Maybe your memory is just getting older. You're just not remembering things.
I was in it and did a whole run. And
no, this would make sense too, because you get duplicates, right, for some of them, so it's very possible, and then that turns into to harvest, so it's possible D and Skiva both got all duplicates and just got more harvest, and they just wouldn't know
exactly.
So
exactly, because I had a bunch of harvests coming in. I had way more harvest than I thought I had. Like, I was almost broke last week, and now all of a sudden I've got a couple of 100,000 harvests. Where did it come from? Well, it probably came from that horde run that got prematurely ended last week.
It'd be nice to confirm that 100%, but I would say I'm 95% convinced that, everything lines up logically that would be the the case. And then at that point, now you've only lost a couple levels versus 43 or whatever. I don't know what level you got to when that happened this time. So
anyway, up late last night doing that. End up going out of that and taking a little break. Start reading through the news, trying to kind of vet things for today's show. Pass out, sleep in my chair for a few hours. Wake up this morning and get started on the show. And dudes, just so much news, like an incredible amount of VR news this week. Patrons, if you're subscribed to our Patreon, be sure to check out this week's show notes. There's all kinds of extra stuff on the bottom. I mean, we could have done another show or even 2 shows out of what we cut this week. Just an incredible amount of stuff to talk about today. And yeah, man, I'm kind of excited to get into it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. You know, the good news, though, is anybody who can't see the cutting room stuff, maybe come check out VR Crewcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe you might hear some of it.
Yep.
That's very possible. You know, Pico launch, we're not even talking about the Pico launch this week. There was an NVIDIA keynote. Let's talk a little bit about that. There was a lot of next-gen tech on display this week. First of all, we have Meta. You know, a lot of jokes about Meta and their legless avatars. A lot of speculation about Meta and their designs on potential full body tracking going forward. Meta shot off some new tech this week, Ruuts. Full body tracking or full body estimation. We won't call it tracking, but body position estimation through AI and neural networks. And apparently only using the tracking data from the Quest 2 as it stands today, and apparently pretty accurate from what they're saying.
That's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to make things a lot more crazy for immersion with other people, right? I guess that's probably the goal, right? So
yeah, that's what they said. That the way that they said this stuff works is kind of weird. Like, you're not going to be able to look down and see your own body tracking in real time. For some reason, the controller tracking kind of breaks it. But Eric, I mean, the way it's going to work is everyone else that's in your space, you're going to be able to see what their body's doing. So you're going to still be this legless floating torso, but you're going to be in a world of people with legs, which is a step in the right direction. Pun intended.
Yeah, it better be. I mean, holy crap, man! How can they not have this right? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I mean, there's other systems out there where they have it. This is Meta, for God's sakes. Get this thing right. I mean, people have been asking for this for years, and they're just now getting it to the point where you can see other people. You still can't see your own legs. You can see other people's legs, which I guess is the main
well,
thing.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time looking at my own legs anyway in VR, so they won't be missed.
That's a good point, actually. I mean, there's very few case points. I mean, you glance down and you see them, but I mean, it's not that big a deal. I don't think.
What about Lieutenant Dan? He didn't see his legs.
Well, you know, he looks at things a little bit differently. I 100% think so.
NVIDIA keynote was this week. We got new graphics cards rolled out. Expensive AF, as we expected them to be, but some advancements in the realm of VR. First of all, they had the Omniverse cloud system that they're rolling out for, you know, their architecture for the future of the metaverse, as well as a new version of DLSS 3 that apparently, Eric, you can see dividends from today. Like, if you have like Microsoft Flight Simulator, apparently this makes a pretty significant difference with regards to frame rate in that beast of an application, which I still have yet to try.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that's I think that's the only one you can run it in, and 90% of the people won't be able to run it. But yeah, that's fantastic.
You have to be able to. I mean, most people can't run that game without getting a lot of choppiness. And I mean, even with my gear now, it's great. But is that for the whole all RTX? Man, I can't talk. All RTX cards, or is that just the 4000 series?
I would assume if the past is any kind of indication, it will be for all modern cards. But I could be wrong. There is some new tech at play here. DLSS 3 might be something that's exclusive to 4000 series. I haven't, to be honest. I've been so busy with other stuff, I didn't watch the NVIDIA keynote, so I'm not 100%. I'm sure someone in the chat or in the comments will clarify.
Yeah.
But you know what, Roots? It really don't matter because I'm not buying one of these fucking things. Are you gonna pay $1,500 for a new graphics card this gen?
No. I just bought a really good one for $1,000. That's going for $899 now or something. You know what I mean? Like it's at some point. I don't care how good this. I mean, this is the thing. The card is going to be amazing. It could be, but $1,600. I just, especially after the weird shadiness that NVIDIA has been doing lately. EVGA, one of my favorite companies, that said, "Fuck you, we're not doing business with you." Not only are we not doing business, but like they feel like they were disrespected, and so I feel like something weird's going on in NVIDIA, and I don't know. Like the world's so weird. Things could change on a dime, and we could just watch them disappear. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would rather just stick with what I have now and cross my fingers I can still get my card worked on at EVGA if something happens.
Yeah, NVIDIA's reputation is something that has been slowly deteriorating over the last decade or so. They said during this keynote apparently that declining GPU prices are a thing of the past, which basically says we're never going to give you a cheap card again. Mm-hmm. You know what I say to that? I say, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Okay. Go ahead, NVIDIA. As the need for powerful gaming PCs begins to diminish over the next few years, for various reasons, cloud computing not being the least of them, as AMD emerges as a viable alternative, and as consoles and standalone continues to get more and more powerful. We'll see, NVIDIA. They talk a big game now like they still own the fucking world, but I think they've got some hard lessons to come over the next few years.
Yeah, they're coming soon. Phil Arn says they're using DLSS 3 exclusively in the 4000 series to begin with. So it'll be a probably timed exclusive.
And the jump is not that great, to be honest with you. If you look at the performance jump from the 3000 series, or at least the 3080, series 3080 like Ti, like we have, or 3080 like Wes has, the jump is not that big. So for somebody that has already bought a 30 series or the higher end of the 30 series, this is a no-brainer that you would skip this generation and get into the 50 series because it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just like what they did before when they moved to new architecture. The 20 series, they charge people 50% more money to be beta testers, basically. And I expect the same thing to happen for the 5 series as happened for the 3 series. They're going to realize that if they want to sell some of these things, that they're going to have to back the price off a little bit. And the next cards will be even better for even less money. So.
I'm getting a 4090 Ti
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'd have to sell everything I have.
Yeah, you just sell your monitor.
I am not selling this monitor. This is one of the best things I've ever bought.
A crushing blow to the VR is dead community this week, as Unreal Engine 5's key features have now been confirmed to work in VR. So when Unreal 5 came out, the Epic Games touted revolutionary new tech in the form of Lumen and Nanite, which one of which is a software-based global illumination system. It's basically ray tracing without needing special hardware for it. And then the other being a Nanite, being a revolutionary new geometry system for the Unreal 5 engine. When this stuff first launched, it was not supported for VR. And of course, all the naysayers came out and said, see, VR's not that big a deal. VR's going by the wayside. VR will never be as good as flat. And here we are about 6 months in, and Roots, all of Unreal Engine 5 is now supported in VR. How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. It just shows you everything we knew, Epic's all in, right? And it's their engine, and they're going to do VR. It's ridiculous to think that that it wasn't going to be amazing and better in VR. Like even just these mods that we've played, like Red Dead 2 with games that are how old, are better and then flat version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And now we've got this engine that's going to make it so much easier and so much better. It's going to be amazing.
Now, it is a universal. Not every version of Unreal 5 is able to use these features for VR. Namely, specifically, standalone hardware can't run it. So, sorry, Quest. Sorry about your damn luck. Now, there is a special version of Unreal 5 for standalones for Quest, but it will not and probably will never be able to run Lumen and Nanite. So, yeah, too bad, right?
Quest 3. Phil Yarn wants to know what monitor you got there, Eric. I was thinking about it. Isn't it like 56 inches? Because I've got my vertical monitor and it's 27. And I was trying to picture, because I was watching a short, I was trying to picture my monitor double for that short. Right? And I was like, fuck, man, that is a big monitor, bro.
It is, man. It's a 55-inch Samsung Arc monitor, so it's a curved screen. This thing is a monster, but man, it's just so nice because you can use PowerPoint, I think it's called, by Microsoft, and I can split every screen. So right now, currently, I have 5 windows open on this thing, and they're all big. You know what I mean? So I can see chat, I can see Discord, I can see Ninja. I'm monitoring a couple different things, and I had to have 3 monitors before to do that. So I just sold every one of my good monitors, and I made up some money there, and got this thing. It's a huge expense. Trust me. I was stupid to buy it, really, but it's just so good, man. I love it. But
this man legitimately thinks that he's better than us.
It was freaking Todd's fault, man. Todd, my wife is like, and you can never go to a show with Todd again because he got me all wrapped up in this thing when we did the demo at PAX, and like we bought it the next day. So it's all his fault.
Well, allow me to piss on your sunny day. My monitor is 46 inches. But it didn't cost me all that money because it's a special kind of monitor called a 4K HDR television, which only cost me a few $100s, and I can cut it all out into all these little different screens too if I want to.
You can. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, if you can run Fancy Zones on any, as long as that's a computer program, so you can run Fancy Zones on anything.
Fancy Zones. I like the name.
Yeah,
that alone is good. I'm doing it.
It's fancy.
Here's what you're paying for. Here's what you're paying for when you pay money for an expensive PC monitor. You're paying for quick response times. So 1 millisecond, 10 milliseconds. So if you're like a hardcore competitive flat gamer, there's some value there for you. Or if you're someone who's like a video editing professional and color accuracy has to be perfect, these monitors are worth their money. But if you're like me and you game mainly in VR, and I mean, it's my
the 166 hertz is nice though too. It's
sure.
I'll tell you what, that's the biggest thing for me. Whether it's World of Warcraft or Fortnite or Fall. Oh wait, those are all Fall Guys. Those are all flat games, like Wes just said, and all competitive ones that actually matter. So it's really what matters. And inside the headset, which Wes is going to use it for, or watching a movie or whatever, it's a waste, right? So.
I'll tell you what, man, Returnal in HDR on my fucking TV looks stunning, beautiful.
I bet.
And it's not an expensive TV, man. It's a cheapo, store brand. I've got a nicer one in the living room, but man, I mean, it's good for what I need it for.
I need to play some Returnal. I haven't done it with my HDR yet.
Oh yeah, Dee's been playing it, man. She's hooked on it again.
Did she beat the first boss?
I don't know, man. We should.
She got close.
That first boss.
She got close.
She got close. Oh my god. Well, I'll tell you what. All she has to do is just watch Wes play one session, like 5 or 6 hour session, right? And she'll know all the tricks.
We should stream
that again. We should. It's 2-player now, man. We did not take advantage of that fully. I think we only streamed it once, and we gave up. I haven't played it. We should stream it, man. That game deserves it, and we owe it to that game. I feel terrible.
Here's the thing. I've been itching. I've been itching to play it, but here's the thing. There's been so much happening in VR. Like, I haven't had a minute to stop and play Returnal. Like, so much stuff. Dude, I've been playing Ghost Runner for this Wednesday show. It's so fun, so addictive. Please don't wait till Wednesday to start playing this, guys. You're going to get hooked just like I did. I love it so much already.
Yeah, I've got some time in it flat. I haven't put it in VR yet, but I played it. I probably played about 2 hours of it flat. It's
easy.
so fast.
The combat's easier in VR because, instead of using the thumbstick to kind of steer what direction you move in, you just turn your head. You just turn your head and you can. Yeah, it's great, man. It's really good.
So hopefully,
really
Blue
works
Cross
in VR.
Doesn't get a cease and desist. That'd be a nice game for a lot of people to play, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about that this Wednesday. We're also going to talk about an update to Little Cities that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. And we're going to revisit Boneworks as our classic game this week, as Bonelab's coming up later this week. Actually, we've got a lot to talk about. I don't want to run on for 3+ hours today. So why don't we go ahead and say hello to our friends in chat? That way we can go ahead and dive in. And I'm going to do it a little different this week, Roots. I typically just scroll up and up and up and try to pick out the names. Today, I'm going to click on this little box here that says participants.
Ooh.
And, well, never mind. It's just showing me 6. So apparently...
Well, come on, man. Where is everybody?
Come on, man.
No participants?
Yep, apparently not. Bluebell is here, as is Corporate Zombie. He says, I'm thinking my next TV might be a high-res VR headset. Yeah, I think that's a smart move.
There you go.
Yes.
Diz the Gamecat says, all my TVs have 240 hertz refresh. Word? Space Denison says, Boneworks rocks. Yeah, we're going to see, man. It's been a while since I've been in there, but as I recall, maybe the most immersive game I've ever played.
You're going to do it on new hardware. The 3080, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
NG2. NG2.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Shapeshifter, the amorphous Gamecat, is in the house. What's up? Mickey Barrios is here. Phil Yarn is here. Diz the Gamecat is here. Fluke Rogi. Anyone else tried that UE5 Lumens demo? On my 1080 Ti, it turns into a slideshow. No, I have not, actually. But I would be interested to see how well it does on my hardware. Traveling Man 3775 is here. Ape is here as well. Good to see you. Mind Jive says 4080 12 gigabytes is a whole different chip than 4080 16 gigabytes.
Because it's not
should have
4080.
Exactly.
Right.
It's basically
should have been
4070.
named 4070. Exactly.
Yeah, the chipset. It's like 104 or whatever. Whatever it is, it's the same. That's always the 70 series. So
They're doing
NVIDIA's
some shady shit.
They're doing some shady shit. And they're setting it up for AMD to slide in. If I was AMD right now, and they probably are, we're talking EVGA. I'd be whining and dining them, and because if you can get them to release a card of theirs, then forget it. It's gonna start. Everything's gonna start shifting.
If AMD was more VR friendly, I'd probably be there right now. But yeah. They're just not VR friendly. Like I can tell you that even like the Pimax AKX does not work with an AMD at all. You can't even hook it. It won't work at all. So it's not even so. They just don't play well with VR. If they get their shit together and do something with VR, which they should, I'd be all over the AMD.
Yeah, it's happening necessarily too, because AMD owns the market in so many different ways. For example, if you're a console gamer at all, you're running AMD hardware like PS5, Xbox Series X. They're all AMD, and that has been the case for a long time. So, AMD has their things that they're good at. Obviously they're lacking in other areas, but I'm quite sure they're going to catch up at some point.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is in the house today. Hack's here. What up, Hack? Chris Oakes as well. Rob Perry. Mind Jive. Did we say hi, Mind Jive? Hello, Mind Jive.
What's up, Mind Jive?
What's up?
The fourth wall breaker is here. Hey, Colt Cabana. Radio Runt. What up, Idaho?
Radio Run, Idaho. I love Idaho.
Thomas McNostril, Phil Yarn, Chris 9989, Mark Smith, Salvador. Oh yeah. Decepticon is here. Ion the Icon is here. Vargosoft is here. Black Market Honey. Good evening from Sweden. Good evening. Black Market Hunting. Glad to see that you can join us. Glad we could get on early enough for you to join us on a Sunday.
Yeah, we're hearing good evening instead of good morning. That's always good. Phil Yarn was able to make it. I mean, the timing makes a difference sometimes, right?
Paradise Decay's here.
Oh, my God.
What's up, PD?
What's up, PD?
Let's see here. Mike Newton, Mash Daddy Cool, I Am Roots, and Four Wheeling. Hello, 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 and hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome VR is here. What's up? How are you doing? Your caps lock's on, bros. What's up, bro?
I love
He's
it.
screaming.
So good. Yeah.
Greg's VR. What's up, friend? Good to see you. Said, watching Red Zone and Virtual Strangers. Well, I know which one of those I prefer.
Red Zone, is that a thing? Is that like a thing?
NFL Red Zone. It's Sunday, bro.
Oh,
is it?
yeah. I forgot about NFL.
I know. What is that? Like a sport?
It's been 4 days and you already forgot about football, man.
Oh, I
What's up
remember
with
the
that?
game. I just forgot that there's actually professional football on. I just haven't watched it for like 5 years or more.
You guys been back in to play any more football since Wednesday?
I have not, actually. I need to get
I
back
haven't
in
either.
there.
I have not
I've been
either, but
thinking about
I
it.
did go back to Galaxy's Edge. I was telling Wes last night. I went back and finished the DLC for Galaxy's Edge because I
second
did have
one?
a lot of I did have a lot of fun in there, man. So I went back and did that. I did not go back into football. Wasn't feeling it.
Orland Hooper's here.
Orland
I
Hooper's
heard.
jacked, yo.
Oh, yeah. You know, now that let's talk about this. And and Todd, you guys need to re-record that like it's such a low soundbite. I need to hear it just like you just screamed it. That's what I want to hear. Orland Hooper's jacked, yo.
I think I'm thinking that I don't want to say this publicly, but I think I'm gonna fire him. I think
He's out.
done.
He's out.
He's out.
Wow. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming says, much love. I'll be a VS solid since I work all week. No more Without Parole for me. Exclusively here. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're not going to be showing up on West Day for Without Parole, but I'm glad to see that you recognize what the #1 VR podcast in the world is in terms of quality. We keep it real here like no one else. So thank you, Tom Flesh Eater Gaming.
I appreciate it.
Anyway, as I've said multiple times already, we have a ton of exciting things to talk about today. So let's get to it. New Bonelab trailer reveals surprise release date. Unique avatar swapping gameplay. This is from Ben Lang at Road to VR. Bonelab, the anticipated follow-up to VR physics sandbox adventure Boneworks, is due to launch this week after a surprise release date announcement from developer Stress Level Zero. Along with the game's release date, a new Bonelab gameplay shows unique avatar swapping, or a unique avatar swapping mechanic. Developer Stress Level Zero has been quietly toiling away on Bonelab over the last few years, perhaps too quietly. So we're surprised to see the studio today announce a sudden release date for Bonelab this week on Thursday, September 29th. The game is set to launch simultaneously on Quest 2 and Steam VR. Of course, the original Quest will not be supported. Alongside the release date announcement, the studio also dropped the best look at Bonelab gameplay yet, featuring a unique avatar swapping mechanic which allows players to quickly switch between various characters with unique sizes and attributes. The fluidity of avatar swapping, combined with Stress Level Zero's signature shooting and physics-driven gameplay, looks like a really interesting combination that we can't wait to try. Bonelab is the clear follow-up to Boneworks, a physics sandbox adventure that pushed the limits of physical simulation for gameplay interaction in VR, a method that we found could be both magical and frustrating in our full review of the game. There's little info on the scope of the game beyond the gameplay trailer and the nuggets of info shared on the game's official Steam and Quest store pages. In addition to its release on PSVR, Bonelab is the first time the franchise will launch on Quest 2, and we're looking forward to seeing how the standalone headset handles the game's heavily physics-driven gameplay. Ruuts, earlier this week, Radio Rump very boldly proclaimed that NFL Pro Era is going to be the Oculus Quest Game of the Month for September. I'm willing to bet that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is head and shoulders above that type of a game. Even though it's a good game and it's big, and people that love football love it, this is something different. It was already amazing when it was like Boneworks coming to the Quest, or Quest 2, I guess, not Quest 1. Sorry, guys. But the fact that it's one, now that I've confirmed it in my mind that it's PC, because for a long time that we thought it was going to be for Quest 2 only, right? And I want to see this thing on the PC. I do find it interesting. It doesn't. We were talking about it when we were looking at the trailer, whether or not it was PC, VR, or Quest footage. And just this footage, these people clearly tried it, right? I think from their article, it sounds like it. But they said they're looking forward to seeing how the standalone headset handles it, which leads me to believe that they haven't tried it. So I don't think that footage was Quest footage. It probably was PCVR.
Well, the footage is not from Road to VR. The footage is an official trailer from Stress Level Zero. So.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if they let Road to VR play it and they didn't get to try it, they probably everything about, I don't know. There's a good chance that everything that about what's going on is the PCVR as far as what we saw. Not saying that it's not going to be good, but it's weird that they weren't allowed to try it, right?
They usually tout it too. If it's not always, but most of the time, if it's Quest 2 footage and it looks freaking amazing, they'll usually come out and, say on the bottom of the screen, Quest captured on the Quest 2 or Quest 2 footage.
Yeah.
We're going to know soon enough, just a few days away, this one. Eric, did you check out the feature that Node did on Bonelabs this week?
I did not.
Yeah, they did a 20-minute feature that showed off a lot of the avatar creation system and some of the sandbox gameplay. This game looks fucking revolutionary and incredible. So basically what they've got here is they have the most detailed avatar creation system that I've ever seen in terms of physical attributes that you can apply to your character. They basically have it down to where you can make a character that is exactly your size and proportions in real life, but you can make something that's way smaller or way bigger. But the thing that's very unique about it is after you decide the physical dimensions and characteristics of your avatar, that then gets converted over into a attribute system. So someone who's very big and muscular is going to be a bit slower but have like way more strength. Someone who's short with a low center of gravity is going to have some speed and agility buffs. So basically you're going to have this collection of avatars that you can play through the game with. As you can see from the footage there, you can swap on a moment's notice, right? Switching back and forth between your avatars. And you're going to have to do that because the situations in the game are going to dictate a character that can handle them.
That's cool.
And it's something unlike I've ever seen before. And it really, really looks like a lot of thought and work has gone into it.
I want an Ant-Man size character, that
cool.
shrinks down to that size. Because talk about scale, right? That's what the coolest thing is. You're going back and forth. You're changing everything on the fly. How cool is that?
Yeah. Speaking of which, you know how these guys are with their realism, right? We know that from the physics in their first game. So, speaking purely regarding size of your characters that you create, changing the size of your avatar actually rescales the whole world for you. So like everything, like if you play in a small avatar, the world is going to seem huge. Everything's going to seem gigantic compared to your hands and your eyes and your body. Everything, it's not just going to be the same point of view from like closer to the floor, for example, or higher up from the floor. Everything is going to scale accordingly to the size of your avatar, which again is just next level thinking on their part.
That's cool.
Yeah, the UI that they're using to do this is like revolutionary. So I think the experience is going to be revolutionary and amazing, and then the way you switch it and the way you build your character and you can change it is going to be, it's going to be different than anything we've ever done before. And from what I'm hearing, it's going to be like it's going to change the way we do these things with UI and how you change the thing, how you set your character up. And that's what these guys do, man. They did it with Boneworks too. They revolutionized, physics in VR.
Paradise Decay is on fire in the chat. He says, who else can't wait for Bonelab?
My mom!
Wow, she can't.
He also says, who else switches back and forth on the fly?
My mom!
Oh, she does.
Yeah, she does.
So, Ruuts, one of our biggest complaints about the first game, or most people, that had any kind of criticism for it, was really kind of critical of the fact that, in many ways, it was a tech demo, right? It was just a demonstration of their physics technology that they developed in studio. And we were kind of hoping that Bonelab might be a little bit more of a game than Boneworks. The weird thing is that it looks like just the opposite. It looks like this is going to be even more of a tech demo than the original, but that in many ways is what's so exciting about it, right? This new tech really seems like new tech, and it's something that's going to be a lot of fun to play with, even in a sandbox environment.
Yeah, well, and the original, even though it didn't have like a big story per se, I guess it did in some ways with the monitors and all. We've gone over that, but it was, like you said, one of the most immersive, if not the most immersive game that we've played, and this looks like it's to the next level. So that alone is going to be exciting. I look forward to it for so many ways, even if it's not a full-fledged game. I think it will be a lot more than the first one was. I just hope that they address some of the physics that were a little bit overdone, because, the article here said that some of it was frustrating, and that's what we felt like in the first one, right? So it kind of made me believe that maybe they just kind of feel like their system is perfect the way they like it, and they just brought it over. And if that happens, it'll still be amazing, because it was really good. The first one was really good. I just hope that when Wes runs up. Was saying this between the trailer or when the trailer was on to the first filing cabinet. I want him to pull it open and have that drawer stop and not go flinging the whole thing come flying over. But my guess is it probably will still come pulling out.
Well, here's the cool thing about this avatar swapping system is now there's going to be scenarios in the game where it makes sense for you to kind of throw these cabinets around. Like if you're the big, massive, strong guy, like that guy should be throwing cabinets. And if you're like the little anime girl, like you should have to put both hands to open a drawer.
That's a good point.
There's situations now where it actually makes sense. I'm assuming that there's also going to be, avatars and body styles that are more suited for climbing, which was another big point of contention on the first one. Is the climbing could have been a lot better, and it looks like there's reason for hope. What we'll say going into this next iteration.
What are the chances, do you think, that they let us turn our arms off? Because I would rather have just had floating hands, and because that was one of the things that was weird about the climbing and stuff was the inverse kinematics. Now that, of course, it's been how many years since they probably fixed it. So,
right.
But zero chance, by the way.
Zero chance. Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's any chance. They've put so much into this avatar system. I don't think they're going to let anyone shut that off, and I don't think most people aren't going to want to anyway.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with Stress Level Zero too is they know they have a great game, and they don't give a shit what anybody else says about the game. So they are a company. They could care less about any criticism they get for the game. They just don't care. They know it's a good game. They know they've made a good game, and then any criticism they have, they're like, whatever. We're making our game. We don't care. And hey, hats off to them. They made their own game.
Yeah, you can respect that, but we also give kudos to developers for listening to the community and fixing things that aren't right. There's a fine line, because you don't want that knee-jerk reaction to where they, like with Ven VR, they were like ready to nerf the fuck out of it, right? Because some people said it's too hard, and you can't do that, right? You have to stick to the values of your game, but at the same time, if something's frustrating to most people in a way that is actually legitimate, you should at least listen to it, and maybe they do. They
did put save points though in Boneworks. Remember that? They did actually add that. It was like a joke though. Remember they did it as a joke to like shame people that they wanted save points.
Do you think it'll be there this time?
I
think if it's not, people are going to do the same thing. They're just going to browbeat them until they do it.
It needs to be there. Before it was just too much. You had too many things. You'd be going through for at 45 minutes to an hour, and you just didn't know. Did I pass a point?
Right. Exactly.
But there is going to be zero story here, I think, guys. I think this is going to be all sandbox and tech. Like, that's it. Like, if you think it's going to be more of a fleshed out story than it was last time, I don't think so.
I don't think there's going to be more than there was last time, but I contend that, it wasn't like it was storyless before. They gave you a backstory. I think it'll be more of that, and maybe they'll elaborate on it a little bit, but it won't be it's not going to be story driven.
It's always like Attack On, right? It's like they give you something to get you to do the sandbox. It's not the sandbox to work around the story. It's the story to get you into the sandbox. That's all.
They give you a framework so that the world that you're in makes sense, right? The way that you're able to do certain things and the way certain things work in the world. They give you a backstory that allows all of this stuff to make sense in the context of that story, and then they allude. They leave a lot of it up to you. There's a mystery involved that you're trying to uncover regarding the world and the creators of the world and the inhabitants of the world. So it's really quite intriguing. I just wish there was more of it. With that said,
I'm fine with it too. By the way. I'm super excited for this game, so I could care less if they have a campaign.
With that said, I'd never finished it. I never finished the first one. I made it super deep, played it a ton, but I never did go all the way through the end. One of the reasons that that we're revisiting this week is I want to make another run at it, and hopefully get it finished by Thursday. So,
that's a challenge.
Are you starting over?
Damn, you got to start from scratch.
You don't have to start from scratch, dude. Don't fucking tell me that, dude.
Well, here's the thing,
Start
man.
from scratch, yo. Come on.
Here's the thing, man. The show's 3 days away. I've already put significant time in Ghost Runner. Little Cities, it's not going to take very long to catch up on that one. So most of my time between now and Wednesday is going to be in Bonelab.
Well, what are you going to do about Wrath
Wrath
of the Lich
Works
King released tomorrow? Oh, wait, you're not
what
doing.
you're gonna do.
You're not doing WoW. You're not doing WoW. Never mind.
No, I'm playing VR, bro.
Man, if WoW comes into VR, oh my God, that would be amazing.
I agree with that. Probably will. So Time to Play PlayStation VR says, so Bone Labs is a big playground with no story. Sounds fun. It's not just a big playground with no story. There's 3 parts, right? There is a sandbox, which is what you're describing here. There is a story campaign, which is what most of that trailer, if not all of it, was taken from. And then there's modding, which they talked about on the Node video this past week. The modding is kind of limited to the avatars and stuff right now. After it launches, they're going to work with the community to refine what's in there, and then they're going to start expanding it and allow people to really start world building and possibly even multiplayer, stuff like that get added into it over time.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, Bone Labs is a lot of different things, and I think there's a lot of potential here to where we could see community-based content be even more prolific in this title than even in a game like Half-Life Alyx. I think that there's a lot more potential here for creators than there is even in that with that title. So yeah, it's very promising.
Yeah, super cool. Can't wait.
Vehicles, Eric, there's even vehicle mechanics at play in this thing, and it's going to be fully moddable. People are going to be making racing games in this thing in a year.
Oh yeah, man, go-karts, I'm ready. That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And in tech demos, if you're gonna not do a story, you have to do something special with it, right? Like, it's okay not to do a story and do a sandbox, but you have to do something revolutionary. And just putting this game, that's gonna be close to what Boneworks was on the Quest 2 is revolutionary. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm 100% okay. And then they're gonna add freaking vehicles in that you can do. I mean, that wasn't even in Boneworks. I mean, this is good. They've been working hard, man, for the last couple of years.
Plus, all the people coming into VR that, again, I'm always looking at the newbie that just got their VR headset. This is going to be one of there's not very many games that, and you guys might disagree, being in VR doesn't necessarily make it revolutionary over a flat game. This game is going to be head and shoulders above playing a flat game. There, like, it's going to be next level, right? Just like Zach Brown's game is going to be, like, some of these games that are coming out in this next year are going to be on that next tier, I believe, gameplay wise, and that's what matters. Like, this is going to be something you can't do in VR and flat, gameplay wise. So
Exactly.
Mario Kart Bone Lab, man.
that would be cool.
Oh yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Greg's VR says, who else likes it when the bone works?
My mom!
She not only likes it, but she gets pissed if it doesn't work. She'll get really upset, like very, very fiery.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? I'm just reading through a few comments here. Corporate Zombie says, zero story. I kind of hope there's something decent. Why would you need to swap avatars on the fly unless you need to work your way through levels? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely levels. There's definitely a campaign. Don't worry about that. They've already confirmed that.
Chris9989 said the same thing that I was kind of asking you guys. Will it be crossed by? We don't even know if it'll be on the Oculus platform, is what Wes was saying. They haven't confirmed that. We know Steam and we know Quest. We don't know about PC Oculus yet. Or
Oculus is dead, bro.
That's right. I forgot.
It's gone.
They need to call it the Link Store and start making releases on it again, but I don't know that that's the case. I think it may just fade away into obscurity as the larger titles on that platform hopefully make their way out onto other platforms.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Shapeshifter, the Amorphous Game Cat. What's up, friend? Genetic Blasphemies with us as well. Good to see you on Akazi. Thanks for stopping by, all. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of question marks still out there on this one. I do highly suggest anyone who hasn't watched it yet, go check out that video on Node. It's about 20 minutes long. There's a lot of great information on it. And yeah, tune in this Wednesday. We'll be talking about Boneworks, the original, before Bonelabs launches the following day on Thursday. Really looking forward to it.
Yep. Onakazi says Bonelab is listed on the PC side of the Metastore.
Oh,
Is it?
Okay. Well, there we go. There's confirmation. Thank you, Onakazi. So now we got to wonder, is it cross-buy? We don't know. Hopefully. I would imagine.
Yeah.
When was the last title that we saw that wasn't cross-buy? There has been some
Sometimes
for sure. Usually it's when
not.
usually when it's a different game. You know what I mean? Like when they moved not Drop Dead. I'm thinking of Super Bright when they did I'm talking about. I can't. Super Bright
I think
did
Moss
the bow and
is
arrow
not
game.
cross-buy.
Yes. Moss was probably the last one. One of the
Super
biggest
Hot's
ones.
not cross-buy.
Do we know
there's
a
a
price on
handful.
this?
We don't, but I got to imagine this is a $40 game, right? This
Yeah.
has to be a $40 game.
Either 30 or 40. I would lean towards 40. Definitely get away with 40. I think the original was 30, I thought, but I could be wrong on it. But I think 40 is probably very likely.
Yeah, different dollars these days than back then.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Mhm.
Go back 6 months. If there was another game came out, it's different dollars these days.
Yeah, so I would count on $40, and if it turns out to be less than that, then we'll have a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, the Bonelab, as awesome as it was not the only awesome and exciting game announcement that we had this week. Other very notable VR devs showed their cards as well.
It's my way to live. It's my way to die. Can we overcome an ocean filled with stars? The speed of light, catching up to the night. Traveling the speed of sound, catching up to you now. The speed of sound, catching up to you now.
Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game, is a VR roguelike from Fast Travel Games. This article is from Harry Baker at Upload to VR. Fast Travel Games unveiled its next first-party title this past week called Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game. It's coming to Quest 2 early next year, and we've already got some hands-on impressions for you. Developed in-house by Fast Travel Games, Ghost Signal is a roguelike action game set in Paradox Interactive's Stellaris universe. In Ghost Signal, you'll control a ship through outer space with gameplay featuring combat, narrative, resource gathering, and more. You just got a first look in the trailer we just watched, and more details from the description below straight from Fast Travel Games. Uncover the wonders of outer space in this VR action roguelike game. Set in the Stellaris universe, captain your ship to battle or befriend a multitude of alien species in your search for the enigmatic ghost signal. Partake in dynamic space wars, encounter planet-sized creatures, gather valuable loot to conduct research, and more. Every journey offers new possibilities. Ghost Signal is designed as a seated experience, and the story mode plays out through roguelike runs, with each level of the run presented as a unique and randomized diorama-like environment laid out in front of you. In each environment, your ship is placed in the middle of a stunning space vista, but the contents of each varies significantly. Some are straight-up combat encounters, while others will see you discover new items and upgrades, or converse with aliens via dialogue options. You'll play through multiple runs and encounter different procedurally generated environments, enemies, and items each time, altering your ship's capabilities with randomized upgrades and items you'll discover along the way. When it comes to combat, you can switch between 3 different weapons to target enemies, but you'll need to balance weapon selection with positioning. Some weapons are more useful at close range, while others work best from a distance. Missiles, for example, can make a big impact on tough enemies from afar, but only have a limited ammo per run, so you'll need to use them wisely. Between levels, you can choose to upgrade your ship and its weapons or equip items that modify weapon behavior, depending on your playstyle. You'll find different items across each run and play through a randomized mix of encounters. It's these mechanics that see Ghost Signal join an increasingly large selection of roguelikes on VR platforms, but it also has some distinct elements that keep it feeling unique. The seated approach that uses diorama-like environments, for example, sets it apart as a more calming entry and less physically demanding than other room-scale roguelites, such as Ancient Dungeon or Until You Fall. Eric, you played through a short run of Ghost Signal at Gamescom this past month, and I know you came away from it rather impressed, right?
Yeah. So this was the fourth game that Fast Travel was touting at Gamescom that you could demo, but this was the one that was completely NDA'd. Like, I had to sign an NDA agreement as soon as I got to the booth, and we didn't even know the title at that point. They were calling it X15, so they wouldn't even tell us the name of the game. But I did. I got to play about a half an hour of this, and it's really cool, man. It's the environments when you're in here and you're looking around at your kind of third person controlling this ship. It's amazing. The looks of this game will blow you away inside the headset. Like, as soon as I got in, I'm looking at it, and I was sitting down facing forward, and then the developer was like, just take a second and turn yourself completely around. And when you take in the whole scene of everything that's around you, it will completely blow you away. It's like nothing I've ever kind of seen before. And then the gameplay is really cool, man. It's like a mix. It is a shooter, a roguelike shooter, but there's RTS elements to it, so it's really not an RTS, but it's not exactly a roguelite. It's a weird mix of everything, where you have to collect these gems to kind of like, to increase your stats, to buy more technology, to increase what you're doing, and the whole package is amazing. You'll see, like, I'm not familiar with that Stellaris universe. People love it though. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and people are like really freaking out about it. But I really have no knowledge about that Stellaris other games. But I can tell you this: some of the bosses that you battle in this thing, I got to battle one of the bosses at the end of the level, and it's huge and it's amazing. And this is one of the games that I came out of the booth and GT was running my demos, and I just had the biggest smile. I came out and he looked at me, and I had this biggest smile after this demo because it was unlike anything I've demoed at Gamescom. It was different than anything else.
So think about this for a minute. We had Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife from the World of Darkness universe, Paradox Interactive. We had Cities VR, which is the VR adaptation of City Skylines. Again, Paradox Interactive. Now here we are again, Stellaris, a Paradox Interactive franchise for a third time. Ruuts, do you think it's safe to say that Fast Travel Games has become the VR arm of Paradox Interactive?
I think it's random coincidence. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's absolutely. And what's crazy is it's cool because they're bringing these known IPs into VR, and that's not easy to do, right? And so they're also bringing the fans of these games into VR as well. And so I think it's super cool. I'm not a big RTS fan. That's my biggest thing, is like, it's got both elements, right? So do you think the RTS fans, obviously they're gonna love this. They're gonna love it like big time. Is it gonna be different enough to draw someone like myself in that really doesn't have interest in this type of a game, is the question. I'd be curious to find out, because I want to see what it looks like in the headset before I make that decision. And then of course I trust your opinion, Eric. I'm sure the gameplay is pretty cool. So
It was a good mix, I thought. I mean, from the limited demo I played, I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed with RTS bullshit that you can sometimes get into with RTS games, and there was enough Twitch shooting for me to keep me involved. But it wasn't just a mindless shooter either. So I really do think it was a good mix. I think it'll have something for everybody.
Yeah, they don't describe this as an RTS. They call it an action roguelike game. So
Exactly.
I would think that maybe there's some RTS elements at play here, but this is certainly not an RTS game. You know what I like about it, Roots, is this kind of mysterious lore that they've got going on here. And not only that, but while it's a very different kind of game, obviously, I get, and we say this about a lot of games, I get some really faint Returnal vibe from it. So like the ghost signal for one sounds very familiar to me, and kind of the structure of the game and how you progress, even though it is story driven. It's a roguelike that puts you through many runs to progress. I mean, there's a lot of elements at play here that really hooked me in a game like Returnal.
yeah, absolutely. Story can absolutely pull you through. That's why people were saying that they thought Bonelab should have a deep story. It doesn't always need it, but in something like this, I think it does need it, really. And I think if they can hook me with a story, maybe I'll go through with some gameplay I'm not normally enjoying, and then find out, wow, I like this. That's one of the things that's great about VR is it gets us to try different types of games that may be flat. I'd be like, I'm never trying that game, never. And then I get in VR and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking cool, man. I'm glad I tried it. So I look forward to trying it and checking it out.
You know, Eric, obviously this is a game that's being developed with the standalone hardware in mind, but you said yourself that it's a very engaging and beautiful experience in the headset. When I look at something like this and I start to think about the possibilities of this coming to other platforms, namely PlayStation VR 2, does it strike you as the type of game where some creative application of, say, like eye tracking could be put to some very good use? Because it seems that way from the outside looking in.
Yeah, 100%. Anytime you have multiple targets on a screen or multiple things that you can interact with on a screen, makes 100% for it makes it a no-brainer for what you're talking about here. Because what happens is you have multiple enemies on the screen at one time. Plus, a lot of times in the demo I did, there was asteroids floating around your ship too. And if you destroyed those asteroids, they gave you this mineral that you had to collect. And so you had minerals that were like floating in space that you had to physically collect. It wouldn't just collect on its own. So that could be a gaze-based thing. There's a million different things that you could do with eye tracking here, especially when you're talking about having multiple targets on a screen. There are developers out there that are already working on this. I know the guys from Starcade Arcade are working on this with Toby, and we know that Toby is going to be in the PlayStation VR 2 headset. So this lends itself perfectly to something like that, because I think it's Star Blazer with Starcade Arcade are doing eye-based or eye tracking based mechanics.
So do you think the delay in announcing this could have had anything to do with them waiting until some news broke about PSVR 2? Originally, that's what I thought. I thought the timing was weird, that this Sony announcement kind of got pushed back, and so did this Fast Travel Games announcement. Now, on the surface, right now, it doesn't appear to be so, but the timing's suspicious, to say the least.
Absolutely, and this was one of the things I asked the developer during the demo, or right after the demo finished, was what other platforms? That was one of my first questions. What other platforms are in? And that's a common question you always ask because you want to know. But I was like, what other platforms are you guys, thinking about developing this for? Or are you? And he would not give me a definitive answer like you would think he wouldn't, but he did say that we are open to all platforms. So we'll see.
Confirmed. You heard it here first. Anyway, Fast Travel, man, just killing it. Obviously they have this title in develop in their studios. The publishing wing just smashing it with Everslot Invasion coming up soon. They're publishing Broken Edge. They're publishing We Are One. They just announced that they're publishing Guardians as well now, bringing it out of App Lab onto the main store. I mean, Fast Travel Roots quickly becoming the top VR game studio in the world with all this activity.
That's crazy, man. It got so many arms out there, and it makes me wonder, man, if a lot of these games, if that's what they just need to do, is you can't get off out of App Lab, just pick a seasoned veteran company that can like polish it up for Meta and get it on there.
Yeah, what else are you going to do? What harm is there? If you've been on App Lab for 6 months to a year and your sales have tapered off, what could it hurt to go give a publisher 25% and let them work their magic with Meta and get a whole second life, and most importantly, get players into your game?
Yeah, because you get on the store this time, it makes it easier for next time. You know what I mean? It just the whole thing. It's kind of like you get your foot in the door, and so yeah, makes sense to me.
Anyway, I'm super excited to finally get my hands on this one. Obviously, we're big fans of fast travel games around here, and this is just another thing on a very long list of things that are coming in 2023 that we are excited to check out.
Yeah, before we switch to the next scene, Traveling Man throwing out a 5 spot says, you know who loves blowing the whistle on the tip train? Toot toot.
My mom.
It's just not the whistle on the tip train she likes blowing, but thank you, Traveling Man. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the support as always, friend. It's very, very helpful and very, very much appreciated.
Yep.
Anyway, this Ghost Signal, not the only thing that was announced for 2023 this week. Another awesome title, or awesome looking title, was dropped right in our laps with no prior warning. Affected, the Asylum, coming to all major VR platforms in 2023. This from Arthans VR. The Affected series is coming back, and a new VR title in the series is in development. Affected, the Asylum will bring an all-new horrific VR experience to players when it launches on all major VR platforms in 2023. As the title suggests, the title will be set in an asylum. Beyond the new setting, the title will feature brand new game modes, interactive mechanics, and story-driven content, all experienced by up to 4 players, seemingly taking huge inspiration from the Silent Hill series. Fallen Planet Studios will presumably be sharing more as we get closer to its launch next year. Roots, so, we were fans of the original Affected game that's out on it's out on all VR platforms currently, which is about an hour long haunted house experience, which has got some replayability thanks to different paths that you can take through the mansion. Now, when that game originally was launched, we were told of a trilogy of Affected games that would eventually be making their way to VR. But over the years, we kind of lost our hope that we would ever see any of the other titles. So I got to say, Roots, I'm extremely happy to see the second entry being announced for next-gen hardware coming next year. But not only that, but this seems like a big expansion over the relatively linear experience that the first title turned out to be.
Absolutely. It's funny. I was watching the trailer at the beginning, and in my mind, I had a joke that I was thinking, man, I was going to ask you, is this going to be multiplayer? And then I saw them pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 flashlights, right? Because I didn't look at this article. I'm like, oh my God, this is multiplayer. And I think that's super cool because we say everything should be, right? But then it made me wonder, like, will it be less scary? Because, you bring a couple friends in there with you, and, it's a difference of being in there alone and feeling like every noise and it's kind of creepy, right? So they're going to have to make it next level creepy and scary to make it super scary for me. I think that's cool. Challenge accepted. Hopefully they do it. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's a good point, Roots. I actually was thinking about this myself. Like on my first playthrough of the game, am I going to bring friends? Because it seems like, not being alone in an environment like this, it might dull down some of what otherwise might be kind of scary. It takes something, Eric, to scare me in VR. And if I got you and Roots backing me up, man, I ain't afraid of shit. Are you going to bring us along the first time you play this game, or are you going to go it solo?
You know who I'd like to see this play alone is D. That would be good.
Yeah.
But you know what I was thinking too is this is like this bringing people into these scary games is kind of a thing that's happening, because look at Exorcist, the new Exorcist game. Yep. Sin is going to be multiplayer. SIN is safety in numbers, because you're bringing more people in. So that's a great question. Can they keep the same level of tenseness and intensity and fear? Can they do that when you're joking around with 3 other people in the headset? And yeah, I just don't know. Like, I wasn't a huge fan, or I was not scared of I only played it a little bit, but what was that ghost game that everybody played that had so much jank? Phasmophobia. I'm terrible with names today, right now. But yeah, Phasmophobia. And one of the reasons that game really never scared me that much is because you're in there with a group of people. Imagine if I went in there by myself, I'd probably be scared out of my mind. So yeah, I'm really concerned about the fear if you're going to feel it in these games. And is the experience going to be the same if I do play it alone? You know what I mean? Is it meant to be played with 4 people and you're going to get a watered down experience alone? And I'm hoping that's not the case.
You know what I'm hopeful for, and maybe it might not be the case with this game, but I'm hoping as we move into the next generation that we see these kind of games, these co-op games, kind of provide an experience where people have to play together but not together. Like, let's imagine we're in a giant mansion, right? Or we're in Asylum or something that we need to escape. But in order to do that, there are a number of different things that have to happen first on all different areas of the map. So let's say there's a scenario where we've got to send Eric to the cellar to get the power back up, while I'm up on the second floor looking for the Necronomicon, while Roots is investigating some weird noises from the first floor. Like, in a situation like that, we're all kind of playing the same game and experiencing the same nightmare, but we're alone locally. and you know, while the gameplay's co-op, you know, you're still alone in a scary situation. I'm not sure that's the type of thing that we've got going on here, but I think there's certainly a lot of potential in this kind of philosophy with game design.
How cool would it be if they took the mind fuckery edge of it? So I'm in there and I'm doing whatever, and Eric comes running up to Ruuts. Hey, what's going on, Ruuts? But I see Eric as some fucked up creature coming at me, and they start playing with you that way. How cool would that be, to where you don't know what's going on? Is that really Eric? Or I'm talking to Eric and then it really wasn't him. It turns into a creature and starts to attack me, or there's so many things that could really, within 5 minutes, set the pace the entire game. That would, if they mess with you enough, you don't know what's going on, you know? I think that would be cool.
Hallucinations are amazing in VR, right? I mean, that's one of the best things. And this just goes to show you that we should make our own video game, guys, because those are great ideas. The Virtual Strangers presents, some fucked up, crazy horror title. I like it.
I'm telling you, I can design the fucking scariest horror games ever. If I had any kind of technical knowledge, this would already be done, bro.
Well, you don't even need it. You just need to be the correspondent that's feeding all the ideas to the people that do.
Yeah, we just contract and hire out the people that can actually make the smart people that can make the game. We just contract that out.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm down, bro. Yeah, I can put some people in therapy if you want. I
Eric's
have the gift.
We'll start the company. Eric's going to fund it. Just break it to your wife. And no, just kidding.
Here we go.
Remember that $3,500 monitor?
It's gone.
That's nothing now. We spent a lot.
We have a rendered reality sighting in the chat. What's up? Good to see you.
What's up?
Yo.
What's up, rendered reality?
Good to see those guys back in action doing their show again on Saturdays.
Absolutely.
Paradise Decay in the chat says, on the subject of VR game devs like Fast Travel Games, Sony's Shuhei Yoshida said that these devs are leading the way into the next gen. And I saw that as well, PD. That actually was the last article that got cut from our lineup today. That I actually had that. I had that as part of our headlines this week, but it got bumped last minute as I found another cool game announcement that I thought that we would enjoy talking about. So you can find a couple of articles related to this, patrons, on the cutting room floor, actually. So again, be sure you're checking out the show notes this week if you have access to them. Tom, Flesh Eater Gaming, I've been playing horror for 30 years. You need minds for story and ideas, Wes. Hit me up. Well,
there you go.
Maybe we can collaborate on something like that. Tom, I think does a lot of work in Dreams. I want to make something that I can put on the damn store, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I want to make games that it takes a team to make. I've got some ideas, but they're pretty big ideas with some different kind of outside the box things. But if you want to collaborate on like some story content, I can certainly hook you up in that department. We can craft some tales together for sure.
Bluebell says there's lots on the cutting room floor, and she's not kidding. There is tons, and just skimming through the articles, there were so many good ones, so many interesting topics. I thought the same thing Eric said. It's going to be great on the crew cast, right? We'll talk about some of it probably.
You could done 2 shows on the cutting room floor, I think.
Yeah.
Good shows too. I mean, there's some good stuff down there.
It's a good time for VR. We've had to go through a lot of shit to get here. Thank God it's starting to pick up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, Tom, Flesh Eater Gaming, not the only big VR horror buff in the room. I'm also a big fan of horror in VR. It's my favorite thing in the world. So why don't we talk a little bit more about some VR horror?
Now, let's take a look at him. Wow. Well, Ethan Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
Yes, Mother.
Yes, Mother. wish for, Ethan Winters?
What are you doing?
Resident Evil 8 VR supports foveated rendering and headset haptics for true next-gen horror. This from mixednews.com. In an interview, lead developer Kazuhiro Takahara talks about what makes the VR port of Resident Evil Village so special. So before I dive into this article, I just want to say this Mixed News website has a lot of great articles, a lot of awesome subject matter that you don't see anywhere else, but they're all you can tell from people who don't speak English as a first language. So some of this stuff might not read perfectly well, but I think we'll all kind of get the idea of what they're trying to say. Anyway, Takahara had already led development of Resident Evil 7 VR, an early VR classic that was proven to terrify more than 1 million people. Shortly after its release in 2017, Takahara said that his team had learned an extreme amount from working with VR and that he wanted to produce for PSVR again in the future. PlayStation VR again in the future. Okay. It took a little longer, but Takahara's new VR masterpiece will be released in 2023, the VR port of Resident Evil Village, which is expected to go a step further than its predecessor. Thanks to the graphics power of PS5, unique technical features of PlayStation VR 2, and a lot of attention to detail by the development team. Resident Evil Village VR will offer a new gaming experience because, unlike its predecessor, you can play it with real VR controllers, the new Sense controllers from Sony. They allow freehand movements and the simultaneous handling of 2 weapons. Quote, "We tried to make the shooting action and reloading experience as close to reality as possible, but we also tried to balance it so that it doesn't get in the way of gameplay," Tsuyoshi Kanda, the producer of the original, told the Japanese PlayStation blog. In terms of graphics, the team was keen to maintain the visual feel of Resident Evil Village and use color correction. Quote, "We make full use of the PS5's functions to ensure that the color does not fade even through PSVR 2's lens, and we are particular about reproducing it with the same quality," says Konda. It also uses a rendering technique called foveated rendering, where the areas the players are looking at are rendered at a higher resolution. This also makes objects appear crisper. Quote, "If you look up at the chandelier in the Great Hall of Dimitrescu Castle, you will not only see the decoration three-dimensionally, but you will also feel that it is very beautiful," promises the VR developer. The VR port will generally benefit from the fact that environments, details, and proportions are perceived more strongly in VR than on a monitor. This makes Lady Dimitrescu's superhuman size even more impressive. As for the visual effect of her daughters in VR, Konda says that they already had a high graphical quality in the original. In the VR version, you can even see how the vampiress's blood vessels pulsate, he says. Another special feature of the PSVR 2 version is the haptic functionality of the headset, a unique selling point of the PSVR 2 headset. The haptic effect is supposed to improve immersion on the one hand and prevent motion sickness on the other, a problem that plagued the original. In the demo Capcom showed to the first PSVR 2 testers and visitors at the Tokyo Game Show, there's a scene where Ethan is dragged around on the floor by his daughters. Quote, The strength and length of the vibration caused by the headset feedback are set in detail for each frame. I think that the feeling of VR sickness will be different just by the presence or absence of that vibration, Takahara says. They have followed the guidelines that they developed for the previous model, but they are still studying the underlying problem. In terms of improvements, the new VR port brings over Resident Evil 7, Konda says, quote, the PSVR 2 version of Resident Evil Village is the culmination of how to express the horror experience in the VR world. And we believe that we can provide a gameplay experience that is very close to reality. Adding, I think that it was an experience that is very appropriate for the word next generation. Roots, when I think back to Resident Evil 7 and all the things I like about it, I think the reason why it's so effective in getting a scare out of me and so many others that have played it, I think it is this sense of realism that you keep hearing these guys talk about. Now, obviously, we're in larger than life worlds and situations, but the feel of the world you're in, and as you move through it and interact with it, even back then with the gamepad, it was just kind of on another level. It felt real, and it still feels real every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're going to have all these extra things on top of it. That's crazy. I did want to add, I think that this article, I think they just, one of the things that they probably get paid for by the comma, because there's a lot of commas in there, Wes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't wait, man. I think that this is going to be next level. And I was saying during the trailer with us three, like you've been saying all this stuff about just wait till they get foveated rendering and they've get eye tracking so that the horror games can use that. You know, you're looking, they know where you're looking, and it sounds like all of these things are going to be incorporated into this particular game. And I think that's a bold claim, though. What if I look up at that chandelier and I don't feel like it's beautiful, just because I'm like kind of a dickhead person? I think it will be beautiful, but which will add to the immersion as well.
Well, here's the thing, Eric. I don't know how far you played into the mod, which is beautiful in its own right. But it's interesting that they point out this chandelier in the castle, because when you first walk into the main area of the castle and you see that chandelier, it's very striking because of its scale, but it's also very shimmery, and it's not because it's a crystal chandelier. It's shimmery because of aliasing. So I find it interesting that here in this article, they use that specifically of an example of the fidelity and beauty in the game graphically. I think it's just one more indication that this game's going to be on a whole other level from not just the mod, but from other VR horror games that we've experienced up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I was already over the top about this game. I mean, I was already like crazy excited. This has me with a new excitement. What they're talking about in this article has me completely jazzed up for this game again, to the point where for a little while, especially after the last kind of like demo that we saw of Horizon Call of the Mountain, that kind of moved ahead a bit for me for a little bit over RE Village. Now, this is my most anticipated game coming out. This is the game with what they're talking about. This is the game that I want to play next year. This is the game that I think is going to blow me away. This is the game that we're going to have to worry about realism in VR and people having issues with it in VR. It's going to freak people out to the point where we're going to have to start getting to that point where we're going to have to worry about certain people not being able to handle these things in VR because we're going to get that close to it. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be next level. This is going to be what next generation virtual reality is all about. And if they can do that with this game, that means it gives me hope that they can do that with all the games that they're talking about doing this hybrid style with. Do it like this. Make it something special. If they can do that, now this is a huge studio. I don't know if every studio can do this, but if they can get close, man, this has me so excited. It's got to have you guys like ready to jump out of your skin too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Ruuts, unprecedented detail apparently in this game. I mean, we've heard the Capcom generically say that, the VR version is better graphically and visually than the flat version of the game, which is a crazy thing to think about. But when you hear these kind of descriptions, not only about the chandelier, but they're talking about the character models for the vampire witches in this game, and they're talking about seeing details like pulsating veins. I mean, that's just crazy to think about, isn't it?
It is crazy, and it's something that a lot of flat games, they, as amazing as they can make it look, they forget about certain details. But even just like my nephew, when he went into Red Dead 2, and he was like playing through the beginning, and he was like, "Oh my God, I never saw Dutch grab that bat, that I don't know, it's like a sleeping bag or something." Like all these little details, because you're present in there and you're able to see it, and it's cool that I know the videos we watched, was it the Europe Gamer Europe? Is that his name?
Yeah, Eurogamer.
Eurogamer. Yeah, he was talking about how amazingly sharp and crystal clear everything looked, and so that's what I'm looking forward to as well. I think it's going to be next level, and super cool.
Shapeshifter, the amorphous Gamecat, says the suspense when nothing happens in between, but you know something can happen any second, is nerve-wracking. And that's another good point about these Resident Evil games, whether you're talking about 7 or you're talking about Village. Eric, in 7, it's Jack, right? Any moment Jack can jump out and put you in danger without a second of advance warning. It's kind of the same in Village too, with these vampire ladies having this power of invisibility. You never know when you're going to start hearing them cackle from right next to your ear, and now all of a sudden they're tearing you apart limb from limb. It really does make every creak, every thump that you hear all that more stressing on you as the player.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be the complete package. I mean, think about, you're talking about audio cues and, the Tempest audio, and then you're going to have haptics, and you're going to have all these visuals that are amazing. And the whole package was what makes you fear these things in VR, and you're right, though, that those moments in between the action where something is going to happen, but you just don't know what or from what direction, you can't get that flat, people. I mean, I don't care how many flat games you've played, or how many times you played this RE Village flat. It's going to be different when you play it in VR, because you're in it. It's around you, and you're immersed in it completely. And this is going to be a next level. I'm telling you, man. The people who were saying in chat, these games are going to need to come with like counseling and things like that, because it's going to freak people out. But this is the stuff I can't wait for. This is the stuff I want. I want to feel like I need to pull the headset off at some point. I want to feel that. Give me that type of realism. That's when I'm freaked out. And this is going to have that. Our RE8 is going to freak me out. And what I want now, Wes, too, give me the proper RE7, PSVR 2 edition. I want that remastered PSVR 2, because to me, I didn't play a ton. I only played about an hour and a half into RE8 with the VR mod. And while it was definitely scary, to me, there was way more action to it. It was freaky. There was a lot more stuff, but the intense fear that you get in RE7 from Jack and things going on there, and the less action, and then the more of the creepiness and scare factor of it, that's the game I think that will really freak people out in VR. And I want that remastered PS5 or PS5 and PSVR 2.
I agree. There's so much going on in that game that really just gets me and speaks to me, because being where I'm from, I've been in a lot of older houses, like
Wes
the
has
one.
Been in that house.
Yeah, I've been in houses like that. I've met people like that. These crazy hillbilly redneck people. So it really spoke to me and seemed so much more realistic to me than this castle in Europe.
So what's crazy about that, Wes, is Jack and his family was never, they weren't always like that. So it's very, very possible you were in that house before it went crazy. Right. Now, let me ask you guys this about the haptics, right? They're touting this haptics that you won't get sick, or at least that's one the articles making it sound like it. And we've heard that before, but I know Eurogamer said that scene that they're talking about, he felt a little bit of weirdness when he got yanked and pulled across the room, right? And so do you think this is going to be the technology that, because I personally believe it's more of a frame thing. If they can get it up to 120, maybe 160, it just disappears, the weirdness. But I don't know.
Well, the scene that he was speaking to, referring to specifically, was clearly a scene that wasn't developed with VR in mind. But the way that Resident Evil games kind of use these cinema sequences, it isn't something that you can cut. Like they're telling a story here. It's a big transition from one area of the castle all the way into another. So they kind of have to keep it and just do the best they can to keep VR players comfortable. I'm not that worried about it. Obviously, most of us have our VR legs here, and I think that people who are kind of new to VR, are going to have a difficult time staying in this game anyway, just because it's so scary. So
it'll be an excuse to get out, right? Oh, I'm not feeling. Their friends watching, like I wasn't feeling too good. Like, you fuck, no, you're scared, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wear brown pants.
Anyway.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. That's true. I think it's going to be next level, and I think the detail, like Wes was saying, that seeing those veins and just everything, it's already creepy enough in the mod, but having that clarity that I've never seen, I look forward to it. I think that it's going to be the reason why PSVR 2 is going to be next level, right? For all of the things I discussed in this article. And it wasn't, to be fair, mixed, whatever this is, mixed X or whatever, really did pretty good job, like you said, reporting it. It really wasn't that broken. I bet if whatever language they speak natively, I would butcher the fuck out of it if I tried to write an article.
Absolutely. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming says he understands completely because he's from West Virginia. My dad's actually from West Virginia. I lived there for a few years, actually. When I was very young, started going to school when I was living in Williamson. If you're familiar with southern West Virginia at all, I lived in Williamson for some time and have a lot of family there. So that's kind of where I'm from. It's my my neck of the woods.
Corporate Zombie says they're going to know when you close your eyes, just saying. And not only that, but you're not going to be able to look away from shit. Like if you want to get away from something, it's going to be in your face and you're not going to be able to get away from it. And whatever game, and maybe it won't be this game designed that way, but I guarantee horror games are coming like that. So
yeah, I can't wait, man.
It's going to give people nightmares.
It is going to, and like Wes said, or I guess what we were saying is people are going to actually probably have to get some kind of therapy. Some people, soft people.
PTSD from video games, bro.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Oh, it'll be a thing. Somebody will be suing somebody. Hey, look, it's coming, guys.
Can you imagine a Halloween 2 style game where Michael Myers is constantly chasing you? And like, I think horror games are going to get crazy, creepy, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yep.
Anyway, speaking of striking, beautiful graphics, we had some really good news this past week about a very popular PCVR mod.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman.
End of the line.
Rise and shine.
Half-Life 2 VR graphics remaster will look absolutely stunning. This again from mixednews.com. Last week, Half-Life 2 VR successfully launched into open beta. The team is planning numerous improvements, including a graphics remaster. The long-awaited VR mod for Half-Life 2 has been well received by VR fans. After just a few days, the game has already received nearly 1,500 positive reviews on Steam. I also grabbed the crowbar last week and was impressed with how much attention to detail the development team put into bringing the first-person shooter into virtual reality, and how smoothly the game runs on my PC. Immersing myself in virtual environments I remember from my youth is a spine-tingling experience. I have to agree with my mixed colleague Max. Half-Life 2 is the better game in VR. The original was released almost 19 years ago. It's clear that it doesn't offer as much graphically as it did back then. Especially the textures and lighting leave a lot to be desired by today's standards. This is precisely where the mod team wants to start, with a future graphics remaster. The project's roadmap states that they wish to rework graphical assets and textures partly manually and partly via AI upscaling to get more details and sharpness out of Valve's game world. In addition, the team hopes to improve all levels in terms of lighting and details. On Twitter, the team previews the remaster and shows how atmospheric the game world looks with improved lighting. This will roll out gradually as an optional download. Fans of the original will still be able to play Half-Life 2 as it was released in 2004. It's not known when the first upgrades will appear. On Twitter, the team says that they are working hard on a major graphics update. But if you want to experience Half-Life 2 VR in better graphics now, you can try out a mod pack that the modder Ashok has put together. You can find it on GitHub or Pastebin. In addition to graphics mods, the mod pack contains new campaigns that have been tested for their VR suitability and should entertain for hours. The Source VR mod team is also working on other things besides the graphics remaster. Firstly, weapons interactions and comfort options will be further improved. And secondly, the team wants to port Episode 1 and 2 for VR as well. You can read more about it on the project's official website. You can download the Half-Life 2 VR mod for free on Steam. Of course, the VR mod requires that you own the original game. So, Ruuts, we have a VR mod here that a lot of people are saying should be considered for VR Game of the Year as it stands right now. But it's good to see that they aren't done with this mod, not by a long shot. This thing is going to continue to get better as time goes along.
And they're bringing all the other ones. That was one of the biggest things I heard people asking. What about Episode 1? What about Episode 2? Am I going to be able to play that in this? And that was literally what I heard was there's no reason why they can't bring these out too. Well, simmer down now. Give them some time. You know, it takes time to do graphics like this. Can you imagine? This is my thing, because now I really do want to go back in and play this with these high graphics. And I don't know. I'm torn. I think I might just wait because the ease of use of this mod, I really don't want to go starting to worry and try to figure out these fucking mod packs. I don't know, but going in there and seeing the lighting through these windows, I mean, that I've said it before, immersion there's so many different ways of immersion, but in real life, when we're walking through and we just take for granted reflections and lighting and things, the way the light comes through windows. And so I guarantee as you're going through places, we're going to start taking them for granted in the games as well. And it's going to feel more realistic and super cool. I just think that this is cool, and it's not going to just stop with the lighting, but the reflections are going to be better. And also the quality of life with the comfort options for people that don't really, because not everybody can play this, you know, like we go in there, like you said earlier, we have our VR legs. There's no big deal. We're going to go into this Ghost Runner and be jumping around fucking places all over the place, things that nobody can do, or some of these people can't do. So I think it's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, apparently these mods that they're touting and later on in this article are legit. Elliot Tate from the Flat to VR Discord channel, when he announced, this roadmap earlier this week, also mentioned these mods. And I mean, I could be mistaken, but I think some of the work that the team is putting into the official upgrades is going to be based upon this graphical mod that they're touting in this article. So my question to you is: do we wait, or do we start tweaking it now?
I'm waiting. I think we wait. I want to see what the actual team can do with it. I mean, modding is fantastic, and it's amazing how many teams use these mods to actually enhance their version of their game. I mean, they're building off of other people, which is fantastic. I hope they do something for these people at some point, the modders that do this. But I'm gonna wait. I think we gotta wait and see. I want to see the whole package, and like Ruth said, it would be nice not to have to screw around with the mods to get them in there and buy the packs and get it at different points. So you have to put 4 or 5 different packs in them. It would be nice just to do it all at one time and then enjoy the whole thing. So it's
Ruth's one of the things people keep asking about with this mod is, what about episode 1? What about episode 2? Are they going to be included? And up until now, we've always had to say, unfortunately, not. Apparently, this not lost upon the Source VR mod team, as apparently this is a work in progress, and eventually we are going to be able to play that content in VR as well.
I think it's crazy. I think it's going to extend to all of it, right? Like at some point, like we'd be naive to not even think that maybe Portal 2 for the same. I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But maybe they start bringing all the Valve things out. Valve uses them to do it. I don't know.
It would be big too because the story is super fleshed out. Have you guys kind of gone through the flat ones and played the other episodes of Half-Life 2? Because there's a lot to them. Like the story leading up to Half-Life Alyx is a lot of that is not just Half-Life 2. It's the other episodes of Half-Life 2 that kind of lead you into Half-Life Alyx. So there's a lot of people that have never played them flat, and if a lot of people want to know that story, or they had to go watch a YouTube video to find out the story. If you want to go play that in VR, you're going to be able to hopefully do it soon.
This is going to make Half-Life Alyx look like dog shit, I think, graphically, right? Because Half-Life Alyx looks really good, but we thought this looked amazing as well. But if they're going to be even better graphics, and it's so much more time was put in there, maybe I think it's going to look amazing.
I don't know, man. I'm sure it's going to look great. Half-Life Alyx is kind of the standard with in terms of like fidelity and detail. But who knows? We are talking about something in the future. Next year, maybe even the year after that. It could very well look better than Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life Alyx was once Resident Evil 8 drops in VR through PlayStation VR 2. That is going to be it, or maybe the Call of the Mountain. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's so much. There's so many awesome games that are going to be coming out in the very near future. The Asgard's effect will no longer be the Asgard's effect. It's going to be the Horizon effect.
Or PSVR 2 effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom Flesh Eater Gaming says there are some cool experiences in Dreams. I covered one, but I have a few others to check out. A great Carpenter movie way before its time. I'm not sure which.
They're talking about The Thing in VR.
The Thing VR, yeah. We were talking about, somebody was saying it would be cool to do The Thing VR, and I can't remember what the other game was before that. Oh, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I said it would be cool to do it in a multiplayer setting, right? Where you don't know if your friends have been taken over or not. That'd be super cool.
Hell yeah.
You know what horror movie would make an excellent VR game? Here's an idea for you, Tom. If you want to make something super scary in VR, turn As Above, So Below into a VR experience. That would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, quickly moving toward getting to the end of this week's headlines, but still plenty of show to go. One more new announcement, though, that just rolled in right as I was finishing up the notes. But amazingly, this looks really cool. Let's check it out.
Dear Nora, I am writing these lines to you, even though I know you may never read them. My research led me to this island in the heart of the Pacific. But here, I only found more puzzling enigmas. Even so, I'm convinced that I'll find an answer for your illness in this place. I swear I'll be back home soon, my love.
But you never returned. What happened, Harry? Your letters led me to this idyllic, nameless island in the middle of nowhere. What did you find? Its shores speak to me in the whispers that carry on the reefs at night. I wonder if this alluring place riddled with mechanisms and contraptions is the same island that haunted me in my dreams. Or perhaps they were never dreams to begin with. Harry, my love, I swear I will find you.
BAFTA-nominated Call of the Sea arrives on MetaQuest 2 next year. This from Henry Stockdale at Upload VR. BAFTA-nominated puzzle adventure Call of the Sea is getting a surprise VR adaptation, releasing next year on MetaQuest 2. Initially launched for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, Call of the Sea first arrived in 2020 and was later nominated for BAFTA's Best Immersive Game. Set in the 1930s, this tells the story of Nora Everhart. We find her investigating her husband Harry's disappearance, who vanished while searching for a cure to Nora's mysterious family illness. With only his photo and island coordinates to work from, Nora sets off on an otherworldly tale of mystery and love, taking her to a South Pacific island near Tahiti. This story-driven adventure doesn't feature combat. Instead, story progression relies on puzzle solving. Developer Out of the Blue and publisher Raw Fury haven't confirmed much else about Call of the Sea's VR adaptation. However, they've announced that more details will be revealed at Raindance Festival 2022, which takes place from October 26th until November 26th. For anyone attending, you can try out a Raindance exclusive closed alpha demo. Call of the Sea VR launches in 2023 on MetaQuest 2, though pricing details remain unconfirmed. So this one, Eric, was a surprise to me. I'd never heard of this game, and when I saw BAFTA nominated, immediately I thought that this might be some kind of 20-minute animated experience. But upon reading the article and then watching the trailer, I mean, this is why I kicked Shuhei Yoshida's interview from today's lineup. I think this game looks really cool.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we were talking, during the trailer that some of these games sneak up on us because we're so into VR that we miss a lot of these flat games that look amazing. And I was the same way. As soon as I saw BAFTA, I'm like, is that even a good thing to put in there that they want to tout? You know what I mean? But, it apparently is for gameplay and it's for immersion, and that's what we want. And it looks beautiful, man. We were commenting on how gorgeous this game looks. And if you can see it now in VR, I mean, this is going to be something special. And it sounds like the gameplay of it and the puzzling of it is just really, really immersive. So I can't wait. I mean, this looks really cool. It looks like something special.
Ruuts, what really stuck to me from this trailer was the story. It seems very intriguing and mysterious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely looks really cool, intriguing, mysterious. The environment's super cool. This is from 2020. I'm just looking at the Steam page, and it's actually got 2,100 very positive reviews, which is cool. But yeah, there was something that you were reading that struck me as weird. I can't remember what it was now in between. but I'll try to remember what it was. But yeah, I'm super excited to check this out. Looks super cool.
Think it's going to be enough to get Scion into a meta headset?
Oh, that's a good question. This was right up his alley. Yeah.
Nope.
Look, it's only
Nope.
Yeah. It's $20 for the flat version. So I don't know. It'd say unconfirmed, but I would guess it's probably going to be close to the same price, right? Be my guess.
So they're saying that this is coming to Quest 2, but they're also saying that there's going to be a playable demo at the Rain Dance Festival this next year, which is interesting because typically these types of demos are almost exclusively PC based. Typically, these demos aren't made for standalone hardware only, which obviously the times may be changing. But if you're someone who has access to Viveport, you may want to keep an eye on your library over the next month or two, because a lot of the time stuff like this that is being demoed at these festivals, it's actually being done so through Viveport. So a lot of times you can catch these demos without having to attend these events.
Yeah, I think it'd probably come to PC, right? That'd be my guess. Why would it not? Unless Meta or paid for it. I think they'd want to put it on every platform. Yeah, it's already on PC. So
I wonder if they would take that Steam version and just make it available to you VR version, or if you'd have to rebuy it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. Certainly a lot of question marks out there regarding this one. Still a long way to go before this one ever sees anyone's library. But I thought it looked cool and thought it looked like it was worth a mention.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up this week's headlines and get us into the week's reminders. And we're going to start off, like we always do, by talking about what's coming out this week. Already talked about Bonelab, which is, the thing that's coming out on Thursday everyone's all excited about. But that's not all that's coming. There's actually quite a bit more on the way. Little Cities attractions updates actually dropped a few days ago for all owners of Little Cities. Absolutely free DLC. The attractions update gives Little Cities players new ways to decorate and embellish their cities with their own style and design, while adding increased depth to the gameplay across all maps. There's a new tab in the build menu for attractions, which is a collection of items ranging from beach chairs to parks to donut shops. These new items will let you add your own flair to your cities, but will also serve a larger purpose. Each attraction will also increase your style rating, an additional new system by which the game rates your city. Eric, this already was a super chill and fun way to kind of have a little art project going on in VR. It's nice to see that the developers are still working on giving us as the player new ways to express ourselves within their world.
Yeah, just in time too, because it's been a while since I've been back into this game, and I think it's just it's time. This is another reason to pull people back in. So I think these updates are super smart. Get people back involved with the game and show them something special. And now it sounds like you have a ton more to do in this game, and I think it'll really open it up. And yeah, Purple Yonder they're really killing it with this game. I was impressed with the original game, and now they've got their first update with a lot of stuff in it. So I'm really looking forward to talking about it next Wednesday, and we'll probably cover it Thursday too.
Yeah. So again, As Eric said, it's been a little while since we've been in the little cities, but we are going to be checking this one out over the next few days, and we will give you our impressions live this Wednesday night on Strangers in the Night.
I'm a little nervous. I was telling you guys between because now the citizens are going to be rating me, and I don't want to get 5 stars, so I got to get some shit going on, right? There's nothing worse than your citizens saying this guy sucks.
Are you guys gonna restart, or are you gonna like just continue?
I'm just gonna continue. There's no well, I guess I can't remember where I'm at now. I might have to restart for all I know.
I thought you were all about the raids, man. You and your Warcraft group.
Oh, I love the raids. You know what's cool? What would be cool on this is if you had an opposing faction, like in World of Warcraft, you can actually in the PvP servers, I guess, or even you can go to the other server and raid their city and kill their like main people, and like it gets in this big battle. That'd be cool to do in VR. I really think if we can get World of Warcraft in VR, I could probably probably lose my job. And what else could I do? I could lose a lot of stuff. Maybe that's not a good idea. Never mind. Take it back.
Yeah, man, just think about it. Little cities, you could have enemy peoples across the water. You can
go raid them. That'd be cool.
You could send people, undercover into their land to overtake their universities and media. Never mind.
Overthrow their governments and destabilize their banking systems and put
also,
fear of pandemics into their society. Oh, I can't wait.
So many things you could do. Win a war without even firing a shot. Sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in. Okay, let's make that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Little Cities wasn't the only Quest game that had a significant free update drop this past week. Another channel favorite also getting a very cool update. Ruuts Squingle is now playable in pass-through mode. What was already one of the more unique and enjoyable experiences in VR that got released last year now gets all that much more cool with this new feature, which will let you play the game in your real environment. I mean, I'm kind of partial to the environments that are already in the game, but this is certainly a cool trick.
Yeah, if you lived in one of those like ritzy celebrity mansions, you might be like, fuck, man.
Bluebell says,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I thought you were done talking. Your audio cut out for me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's, it looks like my internet's doing a little weirdness here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, I was just saying that it's super cool. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Zayla Maru says it's a colonoscopy simulator. No, I think it's more of a pregnancy simulator is how it comes off to me. What do you think about Squingle, Eric?
I think it's super cool, man. I like this game, and I was just telling you guys, this is one game I can actually play on my Vive Flow and get some use out of that freaking paperweight desk magnet. But it's a really cool game, and I like it. And just seeing this, though, we're talking about pass through of like the Quest 2 with the black and white pass through. This doesn't really have me super excited for that, but it has me excited for what we're going to be able to see with pass through when it gets to the color pass through when we get to other AR headsets. Like seeing this game and what they could do with this game on the new Quest 2 Pro or Cambria or whatever you want to call it, and you can have color pass through and see your environment. Then you can actually do trippy things in your own environment. You can actually blend the game environment into your own environment, and then I think it takes the next step. I'm going to check this out to see exactly what it's going to look like, but for me, this isn't that big of a deal because I like you said, Wes, I'd almost prefer their environments. But I think the next level, when we get into real AR, and this is AR, when we get into AR with this, that's I think where it's going to kind of take off.
Agreed. And I mean, if you're talking about something that has actually some clarity to the pass through, then now you can do all sorts of cool things because it's not just, virtual or real. I mean, there's all sorts of space in between there that a really talented developer can play with, right?
Yeah. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you're going to see. I mean, this is just one game, an idea of a game that you can do with AR, and this is these types of games and experiences are going to be they're going to be numerous when we do get color pass through on all. Probably coming up, your Quest 3 is going to have it, and we know that the Pimax Crystal is going to have it, and your Apple headset, whatever that comes, is going to have it, and those companies will be making amazing experiences, and that's what has me excited for AR.
Mindjive in the chat says virtual reality 2 just got a significant update and is on sale for 33% off right now. So, yeah, that's good to know. Thank you. Anyway, we also had some game announcements. Not game announcements, but we have actual games releasing this week. And wouldn't you know it, PSVR once again getting a new title added to the catalog this week.
Rated T for teen.
Welcome to the Startenders Academy Intergalactic Internship.
Hey.
Nice.
Hello?
Hey. Please, don't do that. Shiny. That could have gone better.
Startenders coming to PSVR this week, March 17th. Oh, wait a minute. March 17th wasn't this week, was it? That was, that was 6 months ago.
Oh,
right?
God. Time flew, right?
Anyway, if you're one of the dozens of people that I'm sure have been waiting for 6 months on the edge of their seat for Startenders to finally make its way to PSVR, your wait is finally over. Startenders releasing later this week. Eric, you going to be checking Startenders out?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't want to play this game on the Quest. I sure as hell don't want to break my PlayStation VR out to play this game. There's about 75 other titles I would rather play on the PlayStation VR than this.
You played through this game, the full game on the Quest, I thought.
Yeah, no, I did not. I have never jumped into. I do this all the time, and people kill me for it because they're like, "You're shitting all over a game you've never played before." I know this game. I'm telling you right now, this is a cooking game. This is basically a time management, shitty cooking game like we've seen a million times before. I don't need to get in this game to know what it is, but I can't wait for Wes to play it. You should stream it, I think.
Yeah,
well, I am going to play it, and I'm not going to pass judgment on it until I do. So there you go. I don't know.
What are you talking about, Eric?
I know. Hey, I know where my shortcomings are, and me wanting to shit all over games I haven't played is one of them.
Oh, there you go.
This feels good.
It does.
I'm sure I'm sure it'll be fine. For what it's worth, like most of these cooking and bartenders games that I've played before have all had their strong points and have been fun to play. It's just not my favorite genre of game, and there are people out there who enjoy stuff like this, and we're going to judge it from their perspective and see how good it is. So stay tuned for that.
My 8-year-old daughter will absolutely love this game, just like she loves Job Simulator and Clash of Chefs and any other one of those other games. This is just not a game that's meant for us, I don't think.
But this has got aliens and cool star creatures, Eric.
All right, that's all right. I'll stream it next week.
It just changed your mind, right?
So PSVR getting its very own Quest port, and PC VR players saying, "Hey, what about us? Where's our Quest port?"
Ezra, are we sure about this plan? Shit! I'll have to find another way around.
No, he wouldn't.
What's happening? Ezra, can you hear me?
It is too late for them. Save yourself.
So I'm doing today's show prep as I always do on Sunday. I'm going through all the different stores, trying to see if there's any surprises, anything coming this week that I didn't know that's already was going to be dropping. And I noticed something very interesting on the coming soon list on Steam, and that is this title, Resist, which happens to be, in my opinion, the best work from the very talented group over there at the Binary Mill. This was an excellent game on Oculus Quest. It launched late last year, and we always kind of said that we hoped to one day see this come to PC, and apparently that day is coming very soon, 5 days from now, when this launches on Steam VR. Now, not much known about this. All that I know is what I've picked up from the Steam listing for it. There's no new trailer, as you could tell. That was the Oculus Quest launch trailer. I don't know if this is going to be a straight Quest port, if it's going to be PC upgraded. I sent a message out to the devs earlier today. Obviously, haven't had time to get a response yet. I don't know anything about this PC version. All I know is that this is a great game, and that now people like Scion or others that refuse to buy Quest 2, their library just got a little bit better.
Or potential library Scion says, "I think I will resist playing this game." I think you're missing out, bro.
Big time.
It was the game. I was just saying, between the thing, just the gameplay alone was amazing. So if they do, even if they just bring the game as a straight port, which, like Eric said, would be extremely lazy with the amount of time it took since the last game came out. And of course, they could be working on other games. This might just be like a small project, but I think it's going to be. My prediction is that they're going to take advantage of the hardware, and it's going to look better, at least sharper. And so I'm looking forward to it. I want to go back into this. I just watching the trailer, like Eric was saying, it made me want to play it again, and that because it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's an excellent game. Great movement system, awesome map, cool story, and a lot of replayability here. Certainly a lot of meat left on the bone, Eric, with regards to a second launch on PC.
Yeah, for sure. And if Scion's thinking that, I don't want to play a game because it came out in the Quest first, don't judge it by that, because this game is excellent. There's a lot to this game. It's got story. It's got a great movement mechanic. It's got good, gunplay. The boss battles are really cool. It's got a progression system in it. There's a lot here, so just don't judge it as I won't play any quest ports, because that would be unfortunate, because there's a lot to this game and it's really good, and I do want to go back into this game now, and man, I hope they make it like they use some of the meat behind the PC and actually make this game look even better than it was, because it did look great on the Quest already.
Spider-Man with guns.
Yeah, that's what it is. Spider-Man with guns. And Onakazi said, perfect. Says, think open world swarm. If they did a graphical upgrade, I think they would highlight that on the page. I think, well, that's true. I guess they probably would be screaming about it, but I don't know. We didn't even know this thing existed before Wes stumbled onto it, right? So I don't know why they're not even screaming from the top of their lungs that, hey, we got a game coming out this week.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, to be honest. Kind of weird. No press release, no new trailer, no nothing. Just a random store listing tipped us off.
Somebody was saying, Space Dancing cross-buy, please. Yeah, well, Oculus Store, please. I don't even know that this is coming to their store, right? Or Meta, sorry.
Right. There is no listing for it. I did check.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what's out this week. Let's move on to Viveport Report. We haven't done a Viveport Report in a while.
Wow.
And what a better occasion to check in on what's happening with Viveport Infinity than this week, as Viveport is turning 6 years old. So happy birthday, champ. You're a big boy now. Obviously, as Viveport often does, celebrating with a special promotion for their Infinity subscribers. So if you're a subscriber to Infinity Annual, you will this week get After the Fall and Ultra Wings 2 permanently added to your library. So those games will be playable forever, even after your Infinity subscription ends. So that's a pretty cool deal. If you sign up for Infinity monthly, they will give you Ultra Wings 2 to keep, plus a free month of Infinity on the house. So
wow.
2 months for the price of one. That's a pretty damn good deal.
Well, why would you, looking at this, why? I mean, aside from the free month, like, you get these free games, why would you not? It's $4 cheaper. It's almost a third cheaper. You know what I mean? Like, and they're all billed monthly. So
right, yeah, you're not paying up front.
Yeah, I mean, most things like this, they would say, okay, it's $8.99, but you've got to pay the year in advance. They don't do that, and they're always adding games. So I think it's a good deal to get the $8.99 yearly annual pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's over 1,000 PC games playable the moment you subscribe. So it's a great deal.
Yeah,
I just renewed this morning.
Nice. Well, if you got, especially if you just got into VR, and like Wes said, there's so many things that we just talked about that I can't remember what the game was. That's coming out. It has something coming out to it from this potentially the Call of the Sea, right? They do stuff like that all the time. All these indie things, all these things that, let's be honest, I'm not going to run out and pay money for, but I love to check out. And Viveport's right there giving you access to them. So for that, it's perfect.
There's also a part of this anniversary celebration that they have put together an anniversary collection of Infinity titles. If you go on to Twitter and share what your favorite anniversary collection title is, you'll be entered into a drawing to win possibly a copy of Drunken Bar Fight. So
cool.
All kinds of partying going on. Happy birthday, Viveport. Still the best deal in VR. Highly recommend to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell
Look
yeah.
at that Wanderer, man. Talk about game I need to go back to. Crazy.
Yeah,
So many good titles. The original Vertigo that you're probably going to want to cover, check out again soon if you haven't checked it out, because Vertigo 2 is coming. There's so many big titles in there, man. Fract is in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on. So many great titles in Infinity.
I guarantee you watch this, what I'm just slowly scrolling through for.
Oh my God. The Room. Holy shit. I know. I didn't have to buy. I should have just been buying people subscriptions to fucking Viveport Infinity and saving myself $20.
You could still do that. Look at that, LA Noire, the case files. I mean, yeah, like Wes said, there's so many. Just right now, I'm wanting to rave about Viveport all over again. Every time I look at their page, this is why they sponsor us. So
yeah,
absolutely. Guido7335 with the $10 donation says, "Have a great stream, everyone. Thank you, Wes, Eric, and Ruuts." Well, thank you, Guido, for your ongoing awesome support, not only of us, but our entire community. You rock, dude.
yeah, he's single-handedly the reason why I'm gonna have really cool skins and emotes for Fortnite, because he bought me he gave me $30. He was going to give me Pro NFL. I said I've already got access to it, and so I got some, access to some coinage for Fortnite, because it is coming to VR, and I want to get ready. Getting ready, Wes.
He's so good. He donated 2 copies to people in the live stream chat last night for when we were doing After the Fall. 2 copies to just 2 people in chat of After the Fall, because they had just mentioned that they would love to play this game. They just didn't have the coin to do it right now, and he was like, dude. They bought 2 copies. That's a $30 game.
And
donated a couple of Mr. Tass Swing Plus controller grips that we are going to be giving away as a part of some special content coming up very, very soon. So stay tuned for that.
That's crazy. You know what's convinced me, and Wes can back this up. Everybody, and I mean every single person in Kentucky, is a gem, a really good person, and they'll give you the shirt off of their back. So like, let them into your house and let them sleep on your couch.
We should just move there.
Just move there.
Just move the whole show there.
Yep.
We can all do it from Wes's couch.
Got 2 couches, bro.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, happy birthday, Viveport. Thank you, Guido, for the support.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Anyway, let's move along to our next reminder. It's time for us all to do our part to support the development community out there by taking a moment of our time, all of us together in real time, as we all go and wish list a title. It could be something we've talked about today, could be something completely unrelated, but this is a big deal to developers out there. It helps them raise the profile of their games on the various different platforms, and also helps them to gauge interest. Let them know, are people interested in their game? Are people thinking about buying it? Well, it's a good way to for them to track that. And all it takes is less than a minute of your time to go in just a couple clicks. So please join us right now as we go and wish list something. Ruuts, what are you going to wish list?
A few seconds, less than a minute. It took me a second, 2 seconds. I wish listed off of it was one of the games that we was Resist, because I want to know when that game is coming. I'm ready. I'm ready to try it right now. Scion, I would recommend you check it out, bro. It's cool.
I am, as I say this, I am clicking add to wish list on Bonelab. I think we're all pretty excited for Bonelab. Eric, what are you going to wish list?
That's a good question. I am going to do both Bonelab.
Oh my god, I never thought of that.
And Resist.
Oh my god, I got to do that. I never thought of that. I'm doing both. That's a good idea.
That's against the rules, man. I said we're going to help out a developer, not all the fucking developers.
Yeah, now he's upping up the game. You think you're better than me? You think you're better than me?
This man legitimately thinks that he is better than us.
Hey, the Chinatown Deed, she felt left out. She wanted to get a shout out, I guess, apparently, with a misfire there. But yeah, Eric does think he's better than us, I think, Wes.
So Scion is resisting the wish list of Resist.
What?
And
I don't understand the hate for Resist. I don't understand why. Why? What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not a cooking game. You should be all right.
It's a great game. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool. Spider-Man with guns, bro.
It's not Mist. So we can't play it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to. By the way, thank you to everyone who participated in wish listing a game with us just then. Be sure to let us know in the comments down below what you wish listed this week. And that is going to bring us to our final reminder this week and every week, And that is how you can do your part to help support us, our channel, our community. There are many things that you can do, the most important of which is click that big red button that says subscribe, but don't stop there. Be sure to click the bell as well so that you can be notified as we go live here on the Virtual Strangers channel, which is more and more often these days, right? We're putting out content like madmen, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sign of the times. Busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Of course, if you've already done that and you'd like to do a little something extra to support us, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. You'll see a link in the description below. $3 per month. That's all we ask. Less than $1 per week, and you get access to our weekly show notes. You get access to insider updates. You get exclusive content. Again, all for less than $1 per week, and you get to go to bed and sleep easily at night, knowing that you did your part to help our community to grow. So thank you to all of our 25 patrons out there. We love you all, and we very much appreciate your support.
Absolutely, and we got some exciting stuff coming up. We're going to be using the money for, and pretty soon. Wolvie says he wishlisted Ultimax. Wolvie, just get the game, bro. Don't wishlist it, man. You can.
I'm going to buy it for. I'll buy it for him right now. All right, I'm just going to get it. You know what? Everyone in chat tonight, I'll buy a key of Ultimax.
You get Ultimax. You
Dude,
get Ultimax.
That's it. Where's Oprah? Everybody gets Ultimax tonight.
I don't want to play it. I heard it had gamepad controls.
Oh my god, I'm out.
What? You don't have to use a wire though.
Oh, that's true.
You're back in.
That's true.
I'm back in.
I'm in, bro. I'm in.
I'm in
Manual reloads? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, what else? Oh, of course, maybe you don't have $3 per month to support us on Patreon, but what you could do is come hang out with us for free on the Virtual Strangers Discord. There is a invitation link in the description down below. And this is where we live. It's where we hang out 24/7, lurking in the background, just waiting to pounce out and talk about VR news at a moment's notice. But that's not all. We talk about flat games. We talk about life, music, comedy. We get together to play games. Yeah, man, we're a community in every sense of the word, and we invite you to become part of the whole. Come home.
Yeah, come home, and all we ask is to wipe your feet off.
You know who else wants to be part of the whole?
My mom! She is the whole, bro.
She wants everybody to be part of the whole.
Oh, she's trying to suck everybody in? Oh, yeah? Crazy.
She's talking, she's the whole.
What a way to end the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Butt jokes. And I'm not talking about the whole butt. I'm talking about the butthole.
Oh.
Oh, man.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Eric and Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow on the VR Crewcast. Bye.
Take it easy.
See you later.